Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Srujan. I am a practicing cosmetic dentist and your mentor for the day. And the topic which we are going to understand today is acid etching and hybrid layer. So obviously all of this or both of these topics are for composites, and I am going to further simplify this concept for you from this wonderful book of Mind Maps and Notes by Medi Study Go. So if you do not have this book already, you guys are missing out on so much. So go ahead, get it from Amazon, Flipkart, Dental Card, or directly from the official Medi Study Go website. Before we get into the crux of the topic, I want to quickly introduce this to you. So when we talk about etching, it is usually done with 35 to 37% of orthophosphoric acid, and some of the main functions is to remove the smear layer to create micropores and to demineralize or open the collagen fibers of dentin. Now there are some changes which occur in the peritubular and intertubular dentin due to etching. We are going to study those, but before that, let us go through the sequence of using etchant, bonding agent, composite, and all of that. So the first step is acid etching and rinsing. Now, obviously, this is for the fourth and fifth generation of bonding agents, which is basically total etch technique. So the smear layer is removed, which is formed majorly due to during tooth preparation, which is done with the help of a burr. So that gets removed with etching, and the collagen fibers of the dentin are exposed. So, and the second step after this is the primer or adhesive solution is now added, which engages with the collagen fibers which were demineralized, and that gives us a hybrid layer, which is basically a combination of the bonding agent and demineralized dentin. And what you see here, as I have marked, is a resin tag, which is basically the adhesive or the bonding agent flowing into the micropores which were formed during etching. So now let us start with the main topic. So as I have already told you that there are some changes which occur in the intertubular and peritubular dentin due to etching, let us go through that first. So in the intertubular dentin, the longitudinal or obliquely oriented collagen fibers are exposed, which is going to help us in a hybrid layer formation later on. And there is a space of 15 to 20 nanometers created. You need to remember this point, as there is a pin we can see on this very point. And when we talk about the changes in peritubular dentin, so etchant application or the process of etching is going to open the tubule orifices in typical funnel shape configuration. Okay, funnel shape configuration. You need to note this. Then also it exposes the circularly oriented collagen fibril arrangement, decreases the surface energy, and increases the surface roughness. So basically, from both of these points, we can see that when bonding agent is, combined with the exposed fibers, which happen as we studied here, a hybrid layer is then formed. It is basically a combination of both of these. So again, the main objectives of enamel etching are to clean the enamel, remove the smear layer, and create micropores, which are 20 to 25 micron, by removal of prismatic and interprismatic mineral crystals. Another point we need to note here is that to bond to enamel, it is very important to focus on the mineral component, which is hydroxyapatite of enamel. Moving on, let us understand a little bit more about the etchant and acid concentrations. So in 1955, this was the first time where acid etching was first introduced, and a massive 85% of phosphoric acid was used, which is tremendously high. Right now, as I discussed, it is about 35 to 37%. So for the first time, it was done in 1955. When enamel etching is done, there are different micro morphologic patterns which can be seen. So they are described by Silverstone, and they are basically type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, and type 5. So the important ones are the first two ones, which is type 1 and type 2. Type 1 involves the dissolution of prism cores without dissolution of prism peripheries. Right? So the prism peripheries are intact, but the core is dissolved. And this is called honeycomb appearance. As we can see, only the periphery is visible. Type 2 etching pattern is the peripheral enamel is dissolved, but the cores are left intact. Exactly the opposite of type 1. So this is also called as cobblestone appearance. Type 3 is a mixture of type 1 and type 2. Type 4 pattern, on the other hand, has a pitted enamel surface. It displayed only a random distribution of depressions with no preferential destruction of either cores or peripheries. There is no fixed pattern. Whereas type 5 has a flat, smooth surface after etching. Similar to type 4 patterns, type 5 etching shows no evidence of prism outlines. Type 5 are extremely flat and they lack micro irregularities for penetration and retention of resin. So we do not really get the kind of retention we are looking for. Now remember the resin tag which I told you about. So there are two different types of pores which can be formed, or basically two different types of resin tags which can be formed based on the size and depth of these pores. They can be macro tags and micro tags. Now macro tags are basically surrounded by enamel prism, whereas micro tags contribute more to the retention but are smaller in size, but they are greater in number. So in this diagram here, we can see that, I'll just read the text first. There are two types of resin tags: macro tags, space surrounding the enamel prisms, and micro tags result from resin infiltration or polymerization within the tiny etch pits at the core of etched enamel prisms. So microtags are especially thought to contribute with regard to retention of enamel. So the big structures or the small structures you see here but greater in number are the microtags, whereas the big structures, which are 4 in number, are the macrotags. Now let us understand a little bit more about the dimensions and the structural changes after etching. So let's consider this red line as the enamel layer and the blue surface or the structure which I've drawn as the etchant. When we do etching, there is irregularities which are formed on the enamel surface. So basically, about 10 microns of space is reduced, or 10 microns of enamel gets removed. Now, when we zoom into this, the now formed enamel layer, there are different pores, different sizes of pores. Some are micropores and some are macropores. So these pores basically are going to further get formed as resin tags when bonding agent gets flown into them. So I hope we are clear with this. Moving on, let us stepwise again understand the formation of resin tags. So enamel acid etching removes 10 microns as we have discussed. It creates microporous layer 5 to 550 microns deep. Smooth surface, irregular surface with high surface energy, unfilled liquid acrylic resin, which is basically the enamel bonding agent. It is going to wet the surface and enter the microporosities by capillary action. And obviously, again, there are two types of resin tags which are formed: macro and micro. Now coming to hybridization, which is basically the formation of the hybrid layer, which is one of the most important topics. So let us go through the definition. It is the process of resin interlocking in the demineralized dentin surface, thereby providing micromechanical retention. So there is not just chemical, but also a micromechanical retention present between the bonding agent and the tooth surface. So this zone in which the resin of adhesive system micromechanically interlocks with dentinal collagen is termed as hybrid layer or hybrid zone. I have already shown you a lot of diagrams, so I'm sure you are clear with this. But further, this hybrid layer can be divided into 3 layers. The top layer consists of an amorphous electron dense phase. The middle part, which is important, consists of cross section of collagen fibrils. Longitudinal section collagen fibrils, electrolucent spaces separating the fibrils, and interfibular channels with typical dimensions of 10 to 20 nanometers. And the third and the final layer, which is the base of hybrid layer, it is characterized by a gradual transition between or demineralized dentin gets converted into unaltered dentin or the healthy dentin. There is a partially demineralized zone of dentin containing hydroxyapatite crystals. So these are the three layers. Now let us understand the fundamental principle of hybridization. So inorganic tooth material is exchanged for synthetic resin. This is basically the exchange process and it involves two phases. The first phase is the removal phase. It's very important to learn and understand both of these phases. So in the removal phase, there are two steps being done. First is removing the calcium phosphate, and second, the microporosities are exposed or formed at both the enamel and dentinal tooth surface, which is a result of etching. And in the phase 2, which is the hybridization phase, or where the hybrid layer forms, infiltration of resin monomers by diffusion, which is basically the capillary action, in situ polymerization of resin within the created surface, microporosities, which is the resin tags, and micromechanical interlocking, which is a result of all of this altogether. So another point we need to understand here is the thickness, which is about 3 to 5 micrometers depending upon the bonding systems. Now let us understand the phenomenon of adhesion. Now in restorative dentistry, whenever we talk about adhesives or adhesion, we are referring to the bonding agent. And the two in this diagram, you see the two adherent surfaces, adherent 1 and 2. So that is tooth and the composite. And the adhesive or bonding agent is going to be the medium, which is going to facilitate the adhesion between these two surfaces. So let us go through the definition. Adhesion is described as force with which unlike molecules are attracted to each other, which in this case is composite and tooth structure. So to produce good bonding, the surface energy of the substrate should be high, surfaces being joined should be clean, and rapidly absorb contaminants from the air. There must be good wetting, right? So these are the points you really need to remember. Now on the bottom right, we have a diagram which is going to show us the wetting or wetting capabilities according to the surface contact angle. So the first one we have is 180 degrees. So basically, in a more viscous kind of a fluid, the contact angle is going to be about 180 and there is going to be literally no wetting present in these cases. On the other hand, whenever it's about roughly or less than 90 degrees, there is going to be some amount of wetting. But whenever there is a contact angle of 0 degrees, that is whenever the liquid is going to be really flat, more fluid, that is when we are going to have the perfect amount of wetting. So I hope we are all clear with hybrid layer by now. We are going to revise all of this and understand a few mishaps which might happen and what they are called. So when we talk about hybrid layer, adequate surface moisture is necessary. Optimal hybridization tubular seal, which is a result of good etching and penetration of the adhesive, and this is going to give us optimal hybrid layer. Now when there is excessive surface moisture, we get something called as overwet phenomenon, or also called as overwet bonding. On the other hand, whenever there is absence of moisture on the surface, we get overdry phenomenon. And now moving on, we have it depends on the intertubular permeability as well. If the intertubular permeability is incomplete or less, there is going to be an incomplete tubular seal, and blister-like spaces will be formed, which are called as resin globules. On the other hand, the intertubular permeability. We talked about the intratubular, now talking about the intertubular. So when this is low, incomplete hybridization or the hybrid layer is not going to be formed entirely, and this layer which is formed is called as ghost hybrid layer. So this is an important point. So the keyword you need to remember is ghost hybrid layer. Now let us go through a few questions which is going to help us revise this topic we just studied. So the first question we have is an MCQ, and the question is, which micromorphological pattern represents cobblestone appearance? So we know that there were 5 different types, type 1 to type 5, and so the first option is type 1, which is definitely not the right answer because it was honeycomb appearance. Basically the peripheral or the periphery remains and the core dissolves. Type 2 should be the correct answer, where it is directly the opposite of it. Type 3 and type 4 are definitely not the correct answers. So let us go through the explanation for this question. Enamel etching results in 3 different micromorphological patterns. In the type 2 etching pattern, the peripheral enamel is dissolved, but the cores or the core is left intact, and this is called cobblestone appearance. Let us go through a second question now. The question is, what are the primary objectives of enamel etching in adhesive dentistry? Now we know that there were 3 or 4 basic reasons. The first was to remove the smear layer, the second was to get clean enamel surface, and the third was to get micropores. So let us go through the answer for this. Enamel etching cleans the enamel surface, the first point, removes the enamel smear layer, the second point, and creates micropores of about 20 to 25 micrometers by dissolving prismatic and interprismatic crystals, which is basically causing demineralization. So, uh, by the way, what you see here, what I have marked in the blue box, is called as a flashcard, and this is going to help you really well with quick revisions. If you want to really get done with any topic, or there's anything which is difficult for you to memorize, you can definitely uh, you know get help with flashcards. And in order to get access to more of such flashcards, not just flashcards, MCQs, videos, mind maps, notes, and so much more, I would suggest you to download the Medi Study Go app. So the best part about this app is that you can create your own flashcards. So if there's any topic which you specifically do not, really remember well, you can create the flashcard for yourself and, help you, which is going to help you revise it whenever you want. So as we come to the end of this video, I really hope you have understood all of the concepts in hybrid layer and etching. If there is anything which, any doubt which is lingering in your head, make sure to put it down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. So thank you so much for watching the video. Please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the official YouTube channel, where we try to regularly upload informative videos just like this one, not just for cons but for all the subjects. And the whole aim is to help dental students like you all. So once again, thank you so much and happy learning.